Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, Fountain Pen Therapy. Another ink review for you folks. The ink review is going to focus on 4 inks, and I just purchased 4. There are more available, but I figured I'd give these inks a go. They're a Majohn, believe it or not. They're from the Chinese company that manufactures pens. I've already have several videos showing their pens. I also lately was very surprised with some of their nibs, especially their stub nib that they've come up with the pen P136, which is an imitation, if you will, of the Montblanc 146. Having said that, I figured I'd try their inks. I've purchased 4. I have for you a light blue, a green, a red, and a darker blue. Let's give it a go. Let's see what these give. And if I see that these ink perform well, both on a swatch and later testing in a pen, well, you know what? There's, I think, at least another 6 colors. I may actually order the entire collection. So stay tuned. I'm going to prepare the swatching materials and we'll get to work. Okay, so the first thing we'll take a look at will be the dark blue. Let's see what that gives. From what I gather, just looking at the bottles, they are not shimmering inks. So let's see what this swatch gives. I gotta tell you, so far this thing just went on this paper like butter. If this is half of what I think it's gonna be, we're in real business, folks. But let's not jump to conclusions. So let me just write down. So this is the Majohn, and I don't know if there's an actual name to these inks. It's all in Chinese, so I'm just going to go with dark blue. And I received these, what is it, July 12, 2023. Got to tell you, even the writing with that dip pen was just luscious. Is the only way I can describe it. So so far I'm very, very enthusiastic. Okay, the next ink we'll try out is this lighter blue. And look at these bottles. I mean, these are 50 milliliter bottles. Very nice, very good quality so far. I was expecting to have a really watered down ink, but you know what? That's not what I'm getting so far. Hallelujah. Okay, so let's see what this lighter blue ink gives. Actually, it's not a lighter blue, it's a royal blue. Is what I'm getting in terms of an ink swatch. Again, just, oh my goodness. Sorry, folks, I'm just a little surprised here. It's completely caught me off guard. I was expecting garbage, to tell you the truth. Majohn Royal Blue. And that dark blue is even giving me some shading and some sheen. If that's the case, I'm really, really happy. I gotta tell you. Okay, so let's keep going here. We're on a roll. We'll take a look at the red. Now, I say red. We'll see how it kind of inks. It may very well be a burgundy, but I don't want to jump to conclusions. When we swatch it, we'll name it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it is kind of a blood red. It's not a Ferrari red, so it's kind of a burgundy red. Very dark, so we'll name it accordingly. So let me just ink my dip pen so we can write that. So this is Majohn, and we'll call it Burgundy. So far, so good, folks. Wow. I think if this is half of what I think this is going to give as a result, let me tell you, I'm putting in an order for the rest of their colors right after I finish this swatching episode. The next one will be this green. So look at chunky bottle as well. Wow. Well, you know, maybe we shouldn't be surprised. Mind you, PBS really gave us some nice inks, I got to tell you. So why not? I don't know if it's the same manufacturer, because God knows how they work. But this is the green, and it's not a light green. It's not an Irish green. It's more of a, I don't know what you would call this, but it's green. I hesitate to give it any name just because I don't know what this color is other than green. So we'll just call it green. Some of the artists out there might want to help and write to me and tell me what color this is should be described as. John, I'm just going to give it green. It's a little drier. I found this green was a little bit drier than the others. Maybe it's just I didn't ink my pen properly. And as usual, we're going to give it some time to dry up, and we'll come back and look at these swatches once they're dried. In addition to that, what I also propose is that I'm going to do some swatching, bigger swatches on a A6 Tomoe River notebook, Nanami paper. So this is probably Sanson. I'm going to use that for my introductory video, or you probably have seen, by the time you see this one, you would have seen these on the introductory video. But, it gives me a bigger look, and sometimes giving me a bigger swatch gives me a different look. So we'll take that, and we'll do that as well. There you go. So we'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing that I'd like to take a look at is this Majohn dark blue. Now, I called it dark blue again just because that's what I think it is. And I can't read Chinese, so I don't know if there's a formal name or, some fancy name given to this ink. I like this ink. It's a darkish blue, and as you can see, it has a little bit of a red sheen, which pops out not only on the swatch, but also on the handwriting. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but you could see the red sheen on the handwriting as well. So that's very nice dark blue, I must say. Very, very, and it felt very wet. Took a little time to dry, so it's not an extremely dry ink, which is good. I like wet inks. So that's the dark blue swatch. A small swatch. I've also, you've seen in the introductory video the other swatches I did. This is the same ink with a paintbrush. You can see some of the red sheen and some of the shading. with the lighter blue on the outer edges. A little bit on the writing as well. This is the folded pen. You see, the folded pen gives me the most sheen, and you could see it both on the handwriting and on the swatch. This one is the swab, just a normal swab. This is why I don't like to use swabs. I see a little bit of sheen at the top there, but not much. And this is the automatic pen. Again, the automatic pen and the folded pen is where, it mimics the best a nib, if you will, and that's where you see the red sheen pop out. So there you have the 4 different swatches that you see in my introductory video, just to give you a heads up on what these swatches look like. So stay tuned, and we'll go and we'll do the next ink. The next color we'll be looking at is this royal blue. So this is the swatch that we did together. As you can see, there's very little sheen there. There's a little bit on the outer edges, but not much. Is there some shading? Perhaps. Yeah, you can say that. But otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward, and I would say it's a lovely light royal blue ink. Not turquoise per se, but it's a lot. Put it this way: when you ink the pen and ink the swatch, it looked like royal blue. Then as it dries, it goes more towards a turquoise, a lighter blue. There is some red sheening around the edges of the handwriting, as you could see there, but not much. In terms of the 4 swatches that I took, if we can go to the other swatches that I took, you can see this is with the paintbrush. Well, you've got a little bit of sheening there, but it's a lot of shading. This is with the automatic pen. Again, this is where probably you can see the most sheen, if any. The same thing goes with my folded pen here, but otherwise it's a pretty straightforward blue ink, light blue on the turquoise. Really nice though. I mean, you can tell on the handwriting, very, very nice. And the same thing goes with my swab, which makes it even more straightforward, as they say. So that's with the royal blue or the light blue. We'll be right back with Burgundy. Okay, back with the dry inks, and we'll take a look at each one now. The green, which is a kind of a light, washed out green, if you will. I like the way it comes on with the pen. Very nice, but I don't see any enormous sheen. There's a little bit of pink shading there, a little bit of shading, I would say, especially on the left side here. The darker portion, there's some shading there, but I don't see an enormous amount of sheen, and there's really no sheen on the writing sample either. In terms of how it looks like, what I've done on this A6 paper is that I've given you 4 different swatches here. I've given you, this one is with a paintbrush. There you can see I wouldn't say sheen, but I would definitely say shading between lighter shades of green. With my folded pen, again, you can see some sheening. There's a little bit of reddish tint, but not much. But you can definitely see some shading. This one is with an automatic pen. It gives me really the same automatic pen, by the way, folks. What I mean is this thing here, okay? It gives me a very similar result to my folded pen. And this is with a swab. What I mean by swab is this huge swab here. And that's what that gives. So I would say pretty even results. That's just a blob that you have there. It hasn't quite finished drying up, but I don't perceive that will give me any different results. So those are the four swatches, different swatches that I prepared for you. so to indicate, given different tools that you may want to use for the swatching, that is. We're back with the Burgundy. So that's the Burgundy. As you can see, there's some shading, not much sheen there. I think it's just the variations in the of the Burgundy red. You can see the shading in the J in Majohn, where it's a little bit lighter, so you can get some shading out of this ink. So that's the Burgundy. In terms of the 4 swatches that you saw in my intro video, here you have the paintbrush, where the shading is a little more noticeable. Same thing with the automatic pen. You can tell there's no sheen there. It's really all shading. Same thing with the folded pen. It's still a little bit wet, but you can definitely see all the shading, the different shades of the same color. There's a little bit of sheen there, but not much. It's not a sheening ink. And here's the swab, where it gives you just a flatter version of a swatch, but you can see there again, there's no sheen. If there's anything, it's just shading different shades of that Burgundy red. So that completes the swatches. And we'll be back with my conclusions. Well, as far as my conclusions are concerned, I can tell you that I like these inks. They're straightforward. They're not anything magic. It's not dominant industry. It's not Ferris wheel. It's not even Van Diemen's in terms of all that glitter. And, they're pretty straightforward, but I like their colors. I like the green. It's a straightforward green. It's a nice green. It writes nicely. It's wet. I got a little bit of sheen with that darker blue. I know there are several other colors available, including purple and yellow, etc., etc. I'm going to take the dive, as they say, and I'm going to order all of them. They come in nice 50 milliliter bottles, nice openings, so that you can dip your pen and all your swatches beautifully, not like Ferris wheel, where you might like the ink, but try to get a nib in there. It's impossible. So you know what? I like it. It's positive, nothing extravagant, but positive. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and please subscribe. And if you have any comments, suggestions, please don't hesitate. Take care of yourselves and be well.